All right, welcome to the Cooking for Days Cooking Show. I am your host, Chris Day. Welcome to this first episode. Today's special day of this is because we're celebrating Thanksgiving. We are going to be making some sides for some clients that have ordered some meals for Thursday. Today we're going to be making all these side dishes: green beans, mashed sweet potatoes, roasted Brussels sprouts, asparagus, some apple cider glaze, turkey tips, some turkey gravy, some cranberry relish, and if I forget anything else, oh yeah, stuffing. So today, basically what we're going to be doing is just going through each individual ingredient, making all the dishes from start to finish, and then just talking throughout, just giving you any kind of pointers of cooking, techniques, anything that happens in the kitchen. Obviously, this is not like a typical Cooking for Days weekend where we're cooking the amount of meals that we're doing. So this is just a small, easy batch of food. So I'm excited. So basically, let's get after it. Let's start prepping, and then we'll, you're gonna enjoy this time with me. I hope so, right? Here we go. All right, so what we're gonna start off with is the thing that probably takes the most time, and that is the mashed sweet potatoes. So these are just regular yams, wash them down. I'm gonna put on my gloves, and we're gonna start chopping away at them. And first and foremost, we're gonna be peeling them, which is by far the worst thing when it comes to peeling. I hate peeling. I am somewhat of a faster prep person just because of all the time spent with Chipotle. I'd say specifically Chipotle Mexican Grill for about 4.5 years. But I'm fast, and I'm very fast because we would be like cooking prepping all these like peppers and cilantro and jalapenos, diced onions, lettuce, everything, you name it. But I will still say though, Maria, with her skills that she knows about how to prep, is pretty efficient and fast. But the thing is, she uses a freaking knife the entire time, and I just can't do that. I'm gonna cut myself, and I know I will. So this is at least the easier method when it comes to peeling. Maria, you can keep using a knife. I ain't gonna do that. So ultimately with the sweet potatoes, just making sure you get all the stuff off there. And if you see any brown spots, peel away at it, or you can cut at it whenever you start chopping it up. But ultimately from this point on, we're just trying to prepare and cut all these sweet potatoes at a even distributed, same size, so that way they're all cooking at the same time. So you're not gonna have one sweet potato that's not completely cooked and you have one that's way too big. Figure out your cut sizes. Jesus. That was from Chipotle, once again, of me just having to master all the cut sizes when it came to cutting all the food, because God forbid you had one onion that was slightly a little bit bigger. Someone would come and be like, yeah, your team doesn't know what they're doing. Well, that's why I have Cooking for Days, and I have my own business, because I don't have to worry about anyone else telling me how I should be cutting my goddamn onions! But these are sweet potatoes. Almost done. All cleaned off, and we're gonna start dicing these sweet potatoes. So it doesn't matter, but I usually go in half, and then from here I have a flat surface, and it's easy enough for me to just use both hands, because 2 hands is better than 1. Don't let the knife do you. You do the knife. You tell the knife, hey, I'm the boss. I'm the manager here. Sometimes it lets you know though who's really in charge. Kind of like Maria. And then you cut yourself. Boom. So let's go over to the stove. And all we're gonna do here is just boil some salt water. And because the vegetable has come from the ground, you wanna put it into cold water and then let that boil as it continues on. So we're gonna let all that sweet potato boil. And while that's boiling, now we'll just go back here and we'll just keep mise en placing and getting all the other vegetables ready to go. So that way we can keep an eye on that and being efficient in the kitchen, because people do one thing when they could be doing something else. All right, so now we got the Brussels sprouts as the sweet potatoes are now cooking. And all that we're doing here is just trimming off the bottom of the stem, and then taking off any layers that are just no good. Brussels sprouts are typically best in the December months, November, December, and then of course the winter months. So finding good Brussels sprouts right now is actually best time to be cooking them. It's nice hearty vegetables. So from here we're just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna cut and then cut it right in half, and then just keep all our scraps so at one side. Once again, just finding and making sure that nothing, actually let me put it in a bowl, make it easier, right? We got all these bowls here. All right, so now we're basically almost done with all the Brussels sprouts. All done with the Brussels sprouts. Here we go. All right, so that's the final product of how it looks. Looks beautiful. So something that really pisses me off whenever I go to people's houses is honestly watching them cut without a freaking towel underneath their cupboard. Anyone who cuts on a cupboard, put something underneath there so it doesn't freaking move when you're cutting it. How often you see on people's videos or something like they're cutting and their cupboards move. Just like, it's so simple. Just put a paper towel, you can put any kind of cloth towel, put it on there, and then you're good to go. So now that that is over and done with, now we're going to asparagus. I am just gonna cut it, just like so. Throw it right into our bowl. Probably the easiest produce to prep. So our asparagus right here are all looking beautiful, nice, even, same cut sizes. We'll keep those off to the side. Boom. Everybody is eating green beans because when I went to Market Basket this morning, guess what was not in stock? Green beans, Brussels sprouts. Looks like I already got them. It's a good thing because I ain't dealing with that holiday rush. So in addition to Chipotle, when I left Chipotle, I actually was the general manager of the Bedford Chipotle. I opened up that location, and every morning I would have to go to the bank to drop off a deposit of the Chipotle money from the night before or a couple days before, the bags, the end of night bags, whatever. And every time I'd be like, oh man, I'm gonna go to the Whole Foods in Bedford and get some breakfast. And every single time I walked in there, I immediately felt so much happier, and I had such a better positive feeling with being in that building. And I think anyone who has ever gone into a Whole Foods, you understand, you just feel better in there. So at that point, that was when I started to decide, like, maybe I should get the hell out of Chipotle, because it was just a cult of a way of working there. It was just rice, beans, chicken, burrito, this, that, like everything. So at some point I decided to apply for a Whole Foods market. And when I applied at a Whole Foods market, I got selected to work as a manager, hire manager from an outside hire as like an assistant manager for the department. So that's basically how my background with Whole Foods started, is me just going to breakfast every single morning from my Chipotle run for the bank and saying, I want to work at this company. But Whole Foods has been so great to me for 8 years. A lot of awesome things have happened from there. But one thing that I'm grateful that I don't have to deal with anymore is the holiday catering orders. So I was the prepared foods head department manager when I first started working there. And we would get 500 catering orders within like 2 days. So for Thanksgiving, it was crazy, mayhem. And not to mention the, it's just, you're seeing all this food that's coming in. And in prepared foods, it's not like we're just sending out raw turkeys. We're sending out cooked meats. We're sending out, they're obviously cold, but we would send out all of our side dishes that we would have to make in-house, like the green beans. We would have to make any kind of special stuff, Brussels sprouts, whatever it is. So that massive rush of people getting food all had a purpose and reason behind it, where I didn't realize at the time when I was just sitting there behind the computer stressing out about all these 500 orders within 2 days, and I have all this product sitting and I'm trying to direct a team of 30 people. All that was for the reason of this with Cooking for Days, because without that experience, I wouldn't be knowing what I should be doing right now when it comes to Cooking for Days, and knowing the par level amounts and knowing how to be, just acting as if my own restaurant from scratch. Knowing what items I should be making, the mass production, the organization, all things aside. Knowing all that information came from Chipotle for the production, and then Whole Foods was more of like the organization. So it's crazy how life works like that. But everyone has their piece of their life, of their past, that has made them who they are today. It's as long as you acknowledge it and understand why that happened for the reason that it happened, for you to now be where you are today. Making the best of it, realizing that we can do more, and realizing that we all have a gift inside. We just have to be willing to shine a light on that gift and let it be special and amazing for yourself and the people that are around your life. Message! All right, so now we are officially done with trimming the green beans, all the ends off. I didn't say even what you should be doing, but of course just trimming the ends so that way you don't have the stems. So we're gonna put that aside. These are the green beans that are looking beautiful. We have the Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and green beans already. And then we have some celery, and we're gonna do some parsley in the zest of an orange and the juice of an orange. And we're gonna go from there. We're going for quarter cuts because we're gonna just make it look beautiful and pretty. Yeah, I can feel that. Let me just start crying just because these onions are making really like emotional. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually crying, but I'm gonna wash out this cupboard so I'm not crying anymore. So if you don't want to cry in the onions, soak your onions in water and then see what happens, but it's still gonna happen, so just deal with it. Next, what we're gonna be doing is some celery, and that is going in with the stuffing. So just got a couple hearts here. What are these called? These aren't hearts. Celery hearts. I was right. As I'm cutting these up, I'm gonna tell you a horrific story that I witnessed someone slicing their finger off completely. So it was doing this motion of with your celery cuts. So basically you're just allowing the tip of the blade just to go slicing. And this guy, I don't know what he was doing. He's kind of a weird guy. That was back in Fresh City. He was nice, very, very nice. But for the most part, he was just looking off into space when he was slicing. And maybe it was just that he just wanted to go home and spend the day at home, and he was not wanting to be at work. Sliced his finger super bad, like very, very disgustingly bad. And I'm not one that can see blood, so I immediately almost passed out because I saw his finger just gashed open. Disgusting. So don't do that. And watch your vegetables when you're cutting it. Don't be a freaking idiot and just looking off into space, especially when you're using certain machinery like a deli slicer. I've seen that happen. And then mandolin, where you're, and I've sliced my finger many times already. But no one's asking. Boom, look at that, easy stuff. All done. Let me put it in a bowl. And now we're gonna get some parsley here. Once again, Mark Besson didn't have a parsley, so I had to go to my Brazilian store, my Casanova butcher shop, and I got the parsley there. So there's my parsley. Yes, you can take off the stems, it's okay. We're gonna do it. And basically for me, I like dry herbs. I don't like soaking wet herbs, and I know this is such a small amount. But what we're gonna do here is just rinse this off, and I'm gonna just speed dry just like our laundry machine. But this is basically a salad spinner. That way you can get your herbs nice and dried out. But like I said, I'd rather have dry produce than soaking wet produce. So now that this is all set, we're gonna take it out, because all this is really is used for is just our garnishes for our fully composed dishes. Just put it all in a ball, and then just what I like to do, same thing with like cilantro, anything else, is go as small and as fine as you possibly can. So it's basically like you're shaving down the parsley. To be honest with you, this is all done, but I'm gonna do one more pass here, just for shits and giggles. This is just a simple way to elevate your dish. Even if you're just hosting on Thanksgiving, it's such a small thing that can just make things pop better. My name is Chris, and I am cooking. We're doing some stuff for Thanksgiving. All right, sorry. I do need a new zester because this thing is expired. So what we're gonna do here, very, very simple. Zesting when you don't have a good zester sucks. And we're gonna make the best of it. I'm gonna clean off this cupboard, and then the last thing we're gonna chop up is the rosemary, and we're gonna chop up our country style bread for our stuffing. All right, so here we go. We're gonna take our fresh rosemary and we're just gonna basically go against the grain and try to not get the stems. And this fresh rosemary actually is what's going in with the turkey tips. So the turkey, apple cider glazed turkey tips. It's like you chopping your fingernails with the fingernail clippings. You slice it and so you can see this rosemary now going all over my kitchen. It's okay, I'm gonna clean it up later. This stuffing here is just some stale, and if you will stale, it's really not that stale. I actually took it out early this morning and I toasted in the oven, the microwave, no, toaster oven, sorry. And just allowed it to get a little bit crispy. And then this will be our stuffing bread for our stuffing. So I could be wrong, but I think this is everything that we have to dice up. And that is the biggest thing when it comes to any kind of meal prep or cooking or anything, is get all your ingredients chopped up. That way everything is prepared for you, so you're not going, oh man, I have to go back to the cupboard. All right, so now that we're on to the turkey breast, the last thing that we have to cut up, so we get our meat cupboard right here. We're gonna trim off any excess fat of the turkey. The turkey is very lean, which is awesome. And same thing like anything else, we're gonna just do nice cuts right here. Just keep chopping away. And the marinade is gonna be very, very simple. It's going to just be a salt, pepper, garlic, lemon juice, and some fresh rosemary. The big thing that's gonna happen, that's gonna make it good, is the apple cider glaze that will be going on top of it, which will be cooked separately from it. All right, so we got our turkey tips right here, and these are all the ingredients that we're gonna be putting in there. So we're gonna do some chopped garlic right here, fresh rosemary right here, salt and pepper as well. Some smoked paprika, that's a little wild card right here, just that's gonna give it some color and a little bit of flavor. Splash of lemon juice. And then lastly, just to kind of marinate everything all together, is just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Boom, there we go. So marinated meat, nice, beautiful, has a little bit of color from the paprika. And then we have the fresh rosemary, which is gonna bring out a lot of flavor. So I'm gonna wrap this up, chill it, then we're gonna go to the stove. So now we're at a mash right here, it looks pretty mashed up. Very good. All right, so we got this cooked off here. We are now gonna throw in our asparagus. I got some burning hot garlic on my finger. All right, the asparagus looks great. Let's taste one of these. Perfectly salted. Nice garlic, nice char. Nice good saute flavor. We're good. So now we're gonna start to add our first vegetables in there. And we'll do is the Brussels sprouts. Get a little blanch in there. The color of the Brussels sprouts are gonna be nice and vibrant green. All right, so this has been about a minute. So I'm gonna pull these out and just put them right back into that bowl. Gotta get this garlic going, getting that sweat. Speaking of sweating, it's burning. So garlic is nice and sauteed. We're gonna throw in our Brussels sprouts. All right, so Brussels sprouts are done, nice, even coated. Obviously the blanch made them nice and soft, but the goal here is that when you're putting your fork through there, they're nice and tender, and then once you reheat them up, they're gonna be delicious. So that's all set for there. That gravy is still cooking. All right, so now we're on to the green beans. We'll get some flame in here. Get some fresh garlic in there. The garlic is ready to go. We're gonna throw in the green beans. Gonna mix these around with our hands because Nothing is ever too hot. All right, so green beans. We're looking set. I gotta stop doing that. That's right. Why? We're done with the green beans. Vegetables take no time. Perfect. All right, so turkey tips. Now we are gonna be roasting those off onto a saute pan. We're gonna add on that turkey. Spread it out so that way it's not steaming each other. Nice golden brown color on the outside. The rosemary smell is hitting my face right now. Loving the smell of that. Turkey's almost done. 160, 180. So we're 165, we're at 170, we're good. Everything's good. Turkey tips are looking good. While we're getting everything else all situated, nice little flip just to make you show that I know how to do it. Alright, so that is the entire cooking show with Cooking for Days with your host, Chris Day. That is the holiday Thanksgiving sides and proteins for our clients, our special clients that got that small batch food produced for you guys. And I'm telling you, I'm excited for all this food because luckily enough, we have some extra food for myself to be able to enjoy. For that, guys, we say thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Keep supporting Cooking for Days. We will be opening up again next week, December 2nd, with a brand new menu. Please order by Thursday to receive food on every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I'm going to go right after these turkey tips, a little bit of cranberry glaze. Very good. Thank you guys so much for being here. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving.